Thank you very much.
You got it already.
Yeah,
Sorry?
okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Isaline Gravaud from BRGM, the French Geological Survey. And I'm working on a CCUS research project for many years now at BRGM. And I am not the project coordinator of PilotSTRATEGY. It's my colleague from BRGM, Fernanda Veloso, who cannot attend today. So I'm presenting here today the PilotSTRATEGY project. And I will focus on the work carried out in France, and I will also share the floor with Paola Contelli from IGME, the Spanish Geological Survey, to present the work done in Spain. So the PilotSTRATEGY project is a European project, so it benefits from funding from the European Commission in the framework of the Horizon 2020 program. And it started 2 years ago, and it's a 5-year project. This PilotSTRATEGY project is built from the previous one named Strategy CCUS, which aimed at developing CCUS in promising regions in Europe, rather in the southern and eastern parts of Europe. So you can see, no, you don't see my mouse. So here were the regions studied in the Strategy CCUS project, and here are the regions studied in the PilotSTRATEGY project. So you can see that many come from the former project. So we are studying Portugal, the Lusitanian Basin, Ebro Basin in Spain, Paris Basin in France, and also Upper Silesia in Poland and Macedonia in Greece. And we have partners from Germany and United Kingdoms, and you can see it's a project with 16 partners, all these partners here, with a budget of 10 million euros. So it's smaller scale than the previous project presented here. So what's the objective of the PilotSTRATEGY project is the former project strategy CCUS was looking at the whole carbon capture, transport, utilization, and storage part. Here we really focused on the storage. We performed detailed studies for characterizing the reservoir for a pilot of CO2 storage in different pilots of CO2 storage in each of the regions presented here. So the idea here is to perform all the study, especially for France, Portugal, and Spain, in order at the end of the project to be able to submit for a permit. But it's not in the framework of this project. Here it's just studies in order to prepare a permit, in order to support development of CCS in Europe. So for France, Portugal, and Spain, we will go until the pre-investment proposal for 3 pilots. And for Poland and Greece regions, we will develop the concept, but not as far as the other countries. So now I will present what we are doing in the Paris Basin, as it's a region, the French region of the project. In the Paris Basin, so we are studying this area close to Paris, here. So you can see the Paris area here, and we are 30, 40 kilometers from Paris in this area here. The orange zones are the current license for hydrocarbons exploitation, and we are just studying an area between these licenses. The plan, why are we studying this area, is that you have on the map here the blue dots representing the main CO2 emitters of the southern part of the Paris area. And you can see that there is one here, which is very interesting because it's a fertilizer plant producing ammonia and emitting over 600 tons of CO2 per year, and we have more than 300 tons of CO2 per year coming from steam methane reforming. So CO2 that is already captured, and for the moment it's just vented to the atmosphere, so this would be 300 kilotons of CO2 per year that would be available for storing for a pilot. So we are studying the area next to this plant. So the Paris basin, what we are focusing in this basin, so it's, well, almost a third of the France, the Paris basin, in the northern part of France. So this is the Paris basin, and we are studying the middle Jurassic level, what we call the Dogger Reservoir. And because this horizon has been intensively exploited for geothermal for decades, since the 70s, and also for oil and gas exploration and production. We have still some fields producing in the area. So we have some dynamic data, especially from geothermal, and also information about other wells in the region, cores and petrophysics. And during this project, we acquired new knowledge, new data for our storage complex. We carried out a 3D seismic acquisition in June last year. So maybe coming back, in this, we covered an area of 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers around the plant. And also, we studied, made some experiments on geochemical, on course, geochemical experiments and geomechanical also. And currently, we are building the model to perform the simulations for CO2 injection. Well, the concept is to capture CO2 from this fertilizer plant, to transport it by pipeline or truck. That would be depend from economic and societal insights. We are currently working also on the wellbore design, where to drill the well, and also the equipment, the profile. And also in parallel to this work, we are working on the risk assessment of this pilot, identifying the risk and calculating in as much quantitative as possible approach this risk. And we, in this project, we also have an entire work package dedicated to social sciences and acceptance. So we include also stakeholders' consultation in this risk process. So speaking about societal aspects, in PilotSTRATEGY, we really focus also on the participation and the engagement of the population and the stakeholders. We have carried out regional profiles in each region, and also a study of the national policies. And we are currently working on both citizen engagement in the region, so general public, but also engagement of different stakeholders in each region through also the setting up of regional stakeholders committees in order to provide recommendations for future engagement pathways for future pilots. Some preliminary findings for France and also for all the countries. You can see here a diagram showing the results of a survey conducted online with an average number of 200 persons per country that answered the survey about the acceptance of a potential regional project of CCS So they were asked about how they would feel about a CCS project in their region. We can see that for France, we had surprisingly positive results, with 30% of people answering finding this project acceptable, or 40% rather acceptable. It's not the same in all countries. We can have a short look at also the results for Spain that were carried out in two different areas, one onshore and the other offshore. And you can note that the results for onshore acceptance was better than for offshore. So this is some preliminary results. And also what was studied is to what extent the local population would be proud of their region to contribute to climate change mitigation. And we can see that more than half of the respondents would be proud of their region to store CO2. So that's preliminary findings, and we also have a lot of work to do on this side left. So for France, we are currently defining the CCS pilot concept, and in order to be able at the end of the project to apply for a research permit, that would imply drilling the appraiser well in order to inject 100 kilotons of CO2, because it's a limit for a research permit in France. But yes, we have some challenges about the permitting, because currently in France we have an update of the environmental code. So we will have to meet the new regulation, and also funding, because for a pilot we don't have already defined a funding scheme. And now I will leave the floor to Paola Cantelli to say some word about the work that is being carried out in the Ebro Basin in Spain.
Hi, sorry, I'm short, unexpected to be here, but thanks, Isaline. So the case of Spain is absolutely different than what's happening in France. The beauty of this project is that we have three different areas, Paris Basin, Portugal, and Spain, and the three cases are absolutely different. Paris Basin, for example, they have selected a site, and they are planning all the work to be done for the permit. They have a emitter, and they are working just for the wells, going ahead with the storage permit. However, in the case of Spain, we started proposing two different sites, one onshore, the other offshore, and in the month 18, we had in the past, because we did it, to select one of them, the one that we thought that could be the best for all the different criteria. Both sites are absolutely different. Not the same geology, of course, onshore, offshore. The other is, the offshore is in an industrial area, high population in the coast. The onshore is a very remote area, no population, so it was very difficult. And we take the decision in September. The activities what we planned was, those are the activities for the whole project, but we have to do a preliminary approach going through all of them during the 18 months and for both sides. I didn't say that we are in the Ebro Basin work, we are involved, the Geological Survey of Spain, CIEMAT, that is other organization, national, based on environment and risks. And the third is in the industrial partner, that is Repsol. The onshore area was selected by us based in the inventory of potential structure in Spain for CO2 storage, and the offshore place was proposed by Repsol because it's in an area where have been producing oil for the 50 years. So they have a lot of information, 3D seismic, a lot of wells, a lot of logs. The storage site is an aquifer. However, they have a lot of information for the work behind this. So, bueno, that is the activities that we are working, and similar that Isaline explained. That is a little geology for both sides that you see. In the case of the onshore, we are more knowledge about the uncertainty, and we propose a range of between 30 and 100 million tons potential capacity. The offshore, it was more sticky because they only want to produce one number, but anyway. First thing that we did, was to ensure the safety of the both structures. If one of them was not safe, we eliminate it and we follow with the other option. So first condition, safety. We did this analysis. As you see, both are on the positive side. I will not go in detail. We went also through this multi-criteria approach, identifying for the storage, for the risk, but also social, economics, regulatory. We evaluate all together, all the team, for all the different disciplines to go through the different topics. That is the answer for both, aligned with this table. I mean, you can go in detail, you can prefer one or the other. It's very clear that in the offshore, we have much more data, so we have higher certainty about what we are saying and closer because the detail, it was much higher than we have in the onshore. The geology of the onshore was very plain, very well known. It's a regional state, very, very easy. Let's say, that was an advantage in front of the lower detail of the data that we have. But it was very nice because we decide to go to the workshop. Each team have to select one based on all the information and all the work that we have done with a proposal of the onshore, of the offshore, and explain why. And all of us select the same site, the onshore. And those are the reasons. From a technical point of view, both are equally safe with the information that we have at this time. It was more favorably the onshore for the social point of view. But one of the key things was because one of the main objectives of the project is the regulation. In Spain, we have law of CO2 storage is the translation of the directive. However, we don't have detailed regulation. One of the key objectives of the project is to go through all the permits, all the regulation, identify the gaps, and help to the ministry and the regulators administration to identify the gaps and help them to fill this gap now for the future. And the onshore was easier. So we select the onshore, and we are going through all the activities again, but more in details, only focus on the onshore. And the last one, the same that Isaline, this social acceptance is very, very important and very key, and we are also very happy with the results. And also, just to underline that we have a specific task for regulation that we want to identify in all the countries, how we can help through this project to push to the regulators to feed everything. Thank you. I don't know if you have something more.
So thank you for attention, and please don't hesitate to check the website of the project if you want to have more details and to follow the progress of the work. And also, there is a presentation on Wednesday morning of our colleagues from Portugal about their work in this project. So if you're interested, the offshore work.